It seems to be R. Kelly would rather not decay in that frame of mind for his crimes. So he's trusting that other high-profile rappers will go along with him behind the bars for similar violations. In his new disclosure, R. Kelly indicated that Jay-Z may be sharing his destiny soon enough in light of the fact that the federal authorities, as of now, have sufficient proof against him to demonstrate the music portable's ensnarement with underage ladies evidently. It has something to do with Jay-Z's paternity test, which he won't take for more than 10 years at this point. And with his supposed child ongoing documenting to the high court, the rapper has a decent opportunity to go down and disregard his standing profession and perfect spouse. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Celeb Live channel with the new embarrassment shaking the hip bounce industry. It seems like one music versatile after another is going down, and it's the ideal opportunity for Jay-Z to pay for his crook past. Clearly, very much like R. Kelly, Jay-Z has an unpleasant preference for underage young ladies. And as per R. Kelly, the FBI is now after the music big shot since they have sufficient proof. And where everything began with Jay-Z essentially declining to take a paternity test, a man named who is at present 30 years of age, has been attempting to demonstrate he's a natural child of the music magnate for over 10 years. In 2016, he previously recorded a claim against Jay-Z requesting a paternity test. At last, the case was excused by an appointed authority in New Jersey, referring to an absence of ward. Anyway, Reimer didn't surrender, and as of late Equity February, he documented a high court movement, mentioning that the case be unlocked, blaming the rapper for staying quiet about it to stay away from a paternity test. Well, Jay-Z to Z doesn't actually believe that this youthful merits his time, and all correspondence between the sides happens through the lawyers. Obviously, the rapper feels like he has no commitment to demonstrate anything to anybody, and there's a valid justification for that, as Reimer expressed this was only the question of equity and conclusion on the grounds that the person has consumed his whole time on earth pondering who his father could be, and he never needed to pursue the rapper's riches and funds. He said, "This never about cash for me. My entire thing was simply to see who my dad was. And truly, I get my own cash. I maintain two sources of income. I deal with my own business anyway." Jay-Z trained his lawyers to battle this young fellow until the end, and it seems like the two sides will burn through large chunk of change in the closest future, in light of the fact that neither of them is wanting to give in, as Reimer remarked on his very long-term fight with the music versatile and his supposed dad. "This won't be over until a fair consequence is given. I simply need to carry on with my life. And at the end of the day, I trust that Jay-Z would need to be a piece of my life, assuming that that is God's will." Yet, why the popular and rich rapper continues to battle with this man and won't take the paternity test? Well, clutch your seats, folks, when I let you know that this could be a destiny characterizing test for Jay, is that would uncover that he was more in a similar manner as Oracle than everybody naturally suspects. And definitely, I'm looking at laying down with underage, as Reimer guaranteed his late mother Wanda had been engaged with the rapper when she was 16, and around then, Jay-Z was 22. As per the young fellow, the sentiment was fleeting, as Wanda was dating her secondary school darling Robert Graves simultaneously, and was recorded in Reimer's introduction to the World Declaration as a dad. How, anyway, in a curved new development, Robert took a paternity test in 2010. And think about what it demonstrated: that Reimer wasn't his posterity. So the next year, Wanda conceded guardianship of her child to his adoptive parent. And the excursion to uncover the genuine dad's personality has started. Well, it will be a rough period for Jay-Z and his lawyers, since it doesn't appear as though Reimer is prepared to let it go. Yet tragically for Jay-Z, he can't quietness anybody with his cash this time. And as his supposed child admitted, he needn't bother with any, so it basically makes sense of why he continues to push this case for over 10 years and takes hush money while Faramer involves equity. It seems like Jay-Z is losing it on the grounds that demonstrating this association would be fundamentally admitting that he had laid down with no less than one underage. And this is sufficient to send him to imprison for quite a while. Evidently, R. Kelly can hardly trust that the music tycoon will go down for the very wrongdoings. And that is the reason he's been vocal about it. R. Kelly feels harsh on the grounds that he was the only one being detained for his intercourse with 14-year-old young ladies anyway. It's then supposed that Jay-Z realized about it, as well as had his portion of fun with him in an as-of-late re-merged interview from 2022 to Raperna, proposed that Jay knew about Kelly's bad behaviors, as he told Wendy Williams, who was talking with him, "I might have showed the Trauma Center Kelly video that everyone's discussing and ridiculed it, and show pictures of Jay hanging out, assuming Nas made them uncover comments about Jay working with the denounced it. Might actually cut the rapper down and land him in prison. Too, as Nas said, you can't see me, Jade. Didn't see a 14-year-old young lady come into the studio and sit on emergency room. Kelly's lap, you going to let me know, 14-year-old young lady, come into the area. Well, Jay-Z has a ton to stress over now. And it seems like R. Kelly won't play it pleasantly, and he may be in any event working with the federal authorities to uncover more barbarities in the Bounce local area and conceivably cut a few conspicuous figures down. I couldn't say whether R. Kelly was guaranteed his time in prison cut in return for this participation, yet it seems like he needs Jay-Z to match up with him. And I'll bet many fans find what is going on somewhat frantic for the music head honcho. They just think that Jay-Z is terrified to step through the exam, since it would uncover the obscure truth about his violations. As one client referenced step through the examination, Jay-Z's frightened in light of the fact that she was an underage young woman, and another client added, "I can't help thinking about why he won't step through the exam. In the event that it's false, why stay away from the circumstance?" And it seems as though it wasn't the possibly time when Jay-Z has been engaged with somebody he shouldn't have been, and fans have a valid justification to charge the music investor is sequential violations against minors, since it has been before estimated that Jay-Z has been laying down with Charming Earthy Colored when she was just 15. Anyway, Saucy immediately woke up, evidently subsequent to being reached by Jay-Z, and later she was furiously denying all charges, and surprisingly, taking steps to prosecute the informers for maligning great dissimilar to Saucy, who wouldn't actually examine such nauseating things. Jay-Z found the entire circumstance entertaining, and he was more vocal about these reports since he even tended to them in his tune Picasso Child Oak. "I never put my C in the Fox box, yet doomed in the event that I ain't messed everything up. They attempt to defame your man on CNN. And Fox, my Mirandas don't have a potential for success with cops." Saucy was in shock when she heard Jay-Z expressing anything about these claims in a melody, since he, at the end of the day, advised her to deny everything to keep him out prison later. She said, "We know how this business functions. We sit back, and we snicker at those tales. We giggle at that. I think he started to feel the tension since individuals started to save my age, the age thing. She was 15, 14. Inevitably, that gets to an individual to me to cover a few bits of gossip. Unequivocally, you never discuss them, and never under any circumstance make a tune." And Picasso Child was positioned among the 100 best structures of 2013 by Drifter. And it just added the fuel to the tales that Charming did really lay down with Jay quite early in life. And assuming you want more verification, let me let you know that the occurrence made many individuals in hip bounce very awkward. And the entire thing of Jay-Z and Saucy Brown having a relationship when she was underage made a ton of buzz in the business when Scratch Cannon needed to get a few intel on these charges from Damn Scramble. And he got some information about Saucy Earthy Colored's age, which he got endorsed by Jay-Z Run. Essentially lost it. Damn Scramble immediately took a guarded position and terminated back at group, saying that he ought to get some information about all that he said. It seems like you have an inquiry for Jay posting him. You continue to ask me inquiries you all need to ask him. Since he ain't here, ask him. Since he ain't here, ask him. I ain't got stuff to do with that. And I don't actually know nothing about that. Well, laying down with a minor is a serious wrongdoing. And I surmise to this end Dan Run would have rather not been related with this entire story. So he fundamentally abstained from noting, despite the fact that something lets me know that he realized far more than he had imparted to Scratch Cannon. That day, doesn't the situation just demonstrate that something off-putting was happening here? And assuming these are several accounts like this, envision what else can surface many fans accept that Jay-Z is one stage away from being uncovered. And with the assistance of R. Kelly proclamations, it would be simpler to cut him down and make him pay for each crime he had supposedly finished against excavators. As one client composed, right, doesn't that sound blameworthy? And suspect that is ludicrous. You're basically saying it's actual without saying it. And one more client added, no time like the present, Jay-Z and Diddy ought to be close to R. Kelly. Well, if Jay-Z is compelled to step through that exam, his domain removal would endure a ton. And we could wind up right close to R. Kelly and his phone. And it seems like the music magnate is so frightened of this result, so he is prepared to capitalize on the entirety of his leverage and funds to dispose of Reimer and his cases. And what do you figure is Jay-Z hesitant to step through the exam, since it would demonstrate he had been laying down with underage? Or is Reimer simply one more individual attempting to get publicity on bogus cases? Share your considerations in the remarks beneath. I'm anxious to understand what you're thinking. And meanwhile, check my different recordings about VIP's embarrassments. Well, that is in support of today. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. And I vow to be back very soon.